Okay, welcome to our Year 5 curriculum evening. So I might just give people just one more minute to just see if anyone else is joining us, and just to say that this session will be recorded. So if you would like to turn your cameras off, that is absolutely fine. And if we can ask everyone to just mute their microphones just so any background noise doesn't affect people being able to hear the presentation. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've just got 10 people, so I'll just give it another few seconds, see if anyone else waits to join us. Okay, so we'll make a start. So anyone who's just joined us, this session is being recorded. So if you please turn off your videos and your microphones, just so any background noise doesn't interfere with people being able to hear the presentation. So yeah, welcome to Year 5 curriculum evening. Very, very different to how we'd usually do it. Feel very far removed from everybody, but I'm here with Miss Patterson and Mrs. O'Malley. So are your cameras on? Give a little wave. And I'm Mrs. Stevenson. So we are the Year 5 teaching team, and it's a pleasure to sort of, well, not be able to see you, but to be able to speak to you this evening. So this is just a chance for us to talk to you a little bit about Year 5, to tell you the kind of things to expect during the year, though it's going to be a very different year to how we would normally work in school, but I think we're all adapting very well, and your children are adapting extremely well, which it's a pleasure to be working with them this year. So we'll go through this, and as we move through our slides, just move this, so please bear with me. I'll try my best with this. We're just learning all these new systems. So the Year 5 staff, so in one class we have Mrs. O'Malley. Mrs. O'Malley is supported by Mrs. Preston and Mr. Spencer. And next door, me and Miss Patterson work together to teach the children, and then Miss Ashford is in there to support with learning as well. Okay, and this is just a chance to just gather together, and as a Catholic school, we always begin any meeting by gathering together, and we'll all work together, and if we all make the sign of the cross. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Just as a reminder that we are a faith school. And before we share a prayer together, this is the focus of our year. So live life to the full, taken from John's Gospel. And that was the line from St. John's Gospel, verse 10. So that is the name of our RSE programme. So live life to the full, that's what we teach the children, and that's what we're hopefully going to help them to do this year. And there's some nice images on there to just show the kind of things that we like to offer at Sacred Heart, to not just nourish the academic life of the children, but also the spiritual life, their friendships, their relationships with each other, and hopefully to be able to get to know you all this year as a big family of Year 5 pupils and parents and staff. So we just say a prayer for families. So Father God, we lift up our families to you today, praying for your presence in our lives. Give us the strength to face everything that we are facing, and the grace to handle anything that comes our way. As we trust you, bring us closer to each other and closer to you. In Jesus' name, amen. And I think those words there in the middle, that grace to handle anything that comes our way, I think we're really calling on that, you know, since March, when everything has been so different and so challenging. We're all drawing on that, and we thank you for your support in that. And it's been really nice to get to know you, and the phone calls we made to you before the summer holiday were lovely to get to know you, to just try and begin that relationship in a really positive way. Then moving on to this is something that Mr. Medin normally shares in the hall, and it's just a little reminder. So, dear parents, if you promise not to believe everything your child says happens at school, then we will promise not to believe everything they say happens at home. And that's just to get that positive relationship. We will do our very best to communicate with you. And I think if you just always come and speak to us, give us the benefit of the doubt in things. If your child is coming home saying something, please approach us, please come and speak to us. We'll share our email addresses with you. If you have a question about something that's happened, please do ask us. Don't let things fester. And you know, that belief, you know, we know that sometimes children come and say things about things that have happened at home, things that have happened at school might be slightly embellished. So yeah, that's just a nice way to start this meeting. And from those phone calls, staff worked really hard to have that conversation with you, have that nice getting to know you a little bit, finding out the effect that that period of lockdown had on you as families and also as your child. And what we've been able to do from that is to really look overall as a year group, the kind of things that happen, the really positive things about spending more time at home, the challenges that you went through as a family. If you were personally affected, have been by coronavirus, then it was really useful for us to know that. And what we've done is something called a recovery curriculum. And that's just to look at the kind of learning that was missed from the previous year group, but also the kind of support that each individual child may need as they begin into year 5. And the main message through this is to just go gentle and be kind. And knowing that people have been through so many different experiences during lockdown, it's almost integrating back into school, but then also into friendship groups. And we know that there are children who've spent a lot of time being able to communicate with their friends online or in some other way. But some families have been really isolated. So being able to come back to school was quite a daunting thing. But being on the door most mornings, it's really nice to see most children, you know, skipping into school and not feeling too overwhelmed with it. So that was really nice. Following on from that, we had our parent questionnaire. So thank you so much if you filled that in. And what I will do now is just share these results. So we do a parent questionnaire regularly. It gets sent out and it's an online survey. So we did this in June 2019, again in September 2019, and then the most recent one in the summer, which was around May time. What we've done is just shown in green when that summer result surpasses all of the previous surveys. So we're so pleased with the positive outcomes of those questionnaires. And I think the fact that almost 100%, you know, 99.5 plus children feel well looked after, feel safe, feel happy. These are the main things that we want to achieve for your children. So I'll just let you have a little scan of those. And just moving on to the next one. And when we looked at these, we were so proud to be part of a school and part of a community which just obviously provides so well for children's education, their journey of faith, the well-roundedness of the child. Okay, so the kind of things that we've done since the last questionnaire, we have been offering things called Looking at Learning, where you've been able to come into the hall and just sit with your child and have your child show their books and just to celebrate their learning. So those are planned into our school diary to happen, and we will just wait and see if those kind of things are able to happen. If we're not able to come together in person in the hall, then Mr. Medea will be thinking of ways to work around the restrictions so that we can show you the progress and celebrate the learning. We've also tailored the homework, so hopefully you've had the homework this week, either on Friday or on Monday. And we're just trying to tailor that a little bit more to just give you some clearer guidance. And what we'll do in year 5 is try to email you through Arbor every Friday to just give you a bit of information about what the children have learnt that week. And hopefully that will just give you a bit of support if you do have the time to work with your child at home. That would be really useful. And we know that quite often children come home, and no matter how hard we've worked to prepare amazing lessons, you will ask them what they did and they will say nothing, or that they can't remember. So hopefully our emails will help you to know what they have been doing during the week. Okay, so we always share. So we try to take photos, we try to share things with you on the school Facebook page and through Twitter. So that's there. And then our timetable. So if you just cast your eyes over this, looking a little bit different because at the moment we can't have our assemblies in the hall all together as a school community, but we are using this format. So we have teams, and Mr. Medea is a lot more professional than I am on this. So he will lead assemblies, mission assemblies on a Monday morning, and be able to communicate with the children like that, so they still feel part of that whole school community. Over the lockdown period, we did film some Wellbeing Wednesday assemblies. So at the moment on Wednesdays, we are showing those again for any children who miss them. And once they've run out, we'll be writing more and filming those for the children. And that's just things like the friendships, like the social aspects of school, those things to make children feel good about themselves. We separate reading and English. So our reading lessons are separate to our English curriculum. So we look at the skills of reading, how to take information from a text, how to read between the lines and infer what the author is trying to tell them. So we'll practice all those skills on a Thursday morning and a Friday afternoon. We've timetabled in more PSHE than we would normally do. That is personal, social and health education, purely because of any issues that come from the children missing all of that school. We want to make sure that we look after them in that way. And then we've got our theme, we've got our RE, so 2.5 hours of RE every week. And then we have our maths, and on Friday we specify maths, and that goes into arithmetic. So that's the addition, subtraction, the calculation, all of those things that they need to practice. And on, so our topics, our theme, at the moment we're looking at Tudors. And then in the spring term, our topic is Africa, and in the summer term, it is the Victorians. And this is the Romero curriculum. So all the Romero primary schools, all of the Year 5 children in any Romero school will do those same topics. And that's allowing us to work alongside Year 5 teachers from other schools to really draw on the expertise and plan even better experiences for your children. And this is an example of the curriculum overview. So if you want to know exactly what's happening in the Tudors week by week and the big questions we ask about the Tudors, you'll find those on our website, you can see. And then you can maybe ask your children some of those big questions and see how much they can remember from their lessons in school. Okay, so our daily routines do look very different at the moment. We're trying to keep things as normal as possible for the children. But if you were to be in the classrooms now, you would see the desks looking different. The desks are all facing forward, which is very different to how we'd normally work in groups. As I said, there are no assemblies as a whole school community physically, although we do them online. A big part of our routine at the moment is hand washing, hand sanitizing. So that is being done all the time to make sure we really minimize that risk of COVID-19. And we do still maintain that faith within our classrooms. So we will have our daily prayers, we will have our liturgy. If there's not a liturgy through an assembly day, then we make sure that we do that. We also like to finish each day by reading with the children. So we each have a class text, and it's just a nice thing at the end of the day to just pack our things away and just sit quietly for 10 minutes and just share a text together. So a key thing for Year 5 in terms of sacramental preparation is the Mass of Enrollment, and that's always around Pentecost Sunday. So this year it's the 23rd of May. Hopefully by then we'll be able to join the congregation in church for a 10:30 Mass. And that is the opportunity for your child and you to stand up in front of the congregation and say that you are planning for your child to be confirmed when they get into Year 6. So there are some certificates to fill in, and it is a chance for the children to stand in front of the congregation and they can all see who will be confirmed into the church the following year. It has gone out on the parent dates that is at 9 o'clock, but that's an error. It would be at 10:30 mass, and we'll send you home a letter prior to that to let you know all the information. Okay, so reading. So thank you ever so much for your support with reading. All children have a reading book, and they are heard read with an adult. So even if they are fluent readers, that reading with an adult is still a really useful way to spend a few minutes. And even if it's not just reading through the text, it can be just a discussion about the text and what they think of it, what they're enjoying, if they've got any predictions about what might happen next, if they can infer what the author might be telling them, things like that. So discussions about the books. As I said, we have 2 reading lessons a week, and we have some of your children will be heard read daily by an adult, some of them will be heard weekly depending on their ability. We ask that their books are brought in every day. So hopefully they've all got their bags that they're able to bring in now. So please bring that in every day, and we will remind them to send them home at the end of every day. And then they will have specific reading homework as well. So just a few ideas. So as I say, when we get to upper Key Stage 2, reading might look a little bit different to when they're just learning to actually decode the words in Key Stage 1. And learning how to say certain words and how the letters work together. What we like to say in upper Key Stage 2 is looking at developing that enjoyment and love of reading. So if you enjoy reading yourself, then just having that time to sit and have some reading time together can be a really nice way to spend some time. Enjoying the stories together, and it could be your child just telling you what their book is about, not necessarily reading out the words to you, but having that discussion. And reading a little at a time, but often, rather than for longer periods of time and for less of the time. That's much more enjoyable for the children and much more achievable. So you could talk about the story before, during and afterwards. You could talk about the plot, the characters, how they think the characters feel and their actions, how it makes them feel to read the story, what effect the author was trying to go for, and did it have that effect on the reader. And encouraging the children to have their own opinions about the text. And if they don't like a book, why not? What was it that they didn't enjoy? And if they were the author of that book, how would they make it even better? They quite like to talk about how they would make things even better. You could look up definitions of words together, and that, you know, the old-fashioned book dictionary, or there are so many apps and ways to do that on the internet. And all reading is valuable, so it doesn't have to be a book. So there's all those other ideas that you could share with your child. Spelling, so we have spelling shed. Hopefully all of the children's logins do work. If they don't, please come in and get your child to ask us, and we can log into our teacher account and we can reset them for your child, so we don't need to wait for anybody else to do it. There will be weekly spelling homework, there'll be weekly spelling tests. And if we find that children need some extra support with spelling, then we will have a smaller group intervention to help them with that. Our maths is a textbook called Maths No Problem, and this is based on the maths they do in Singapore. So it's a way for children to really visually see and understand maths, and it's about them really understanding it, not just remembering a formula, which if they don't do it for a while, they forget. This is trying to get them to really understand how the numbers work together, how maths actually works. So it's much more hands-on. There's much more resources, so physical things for them to touch and move and explore, and lots of discussion time as well. And this, again, there's not just one way for maths, and it could be that somebody in your class finds it easier to do it one way, some might find it easier to do another way. And it's just that discussion and seeing how maths works. The times tables is crucial. So it's such a crucial thing that they need to understand to be able to do so much of maths generally. So we have some boards that just show times tables in the classroom, and that would be just something that would be so useful for you to just regularly practice with your child. So if they know they find the 4 times table tricky, just that regular asking them questions, seeing how quickly they can do it. And what they really like to do is, if you have a calculator, the one on your phone or an actual calculator, and someone asks a question, they like to be able to see if they can beat you physically typing it into the calculator and whether they can do it quicker mentally. So that's always a good game to play. Okay, so just to summarise that, so to support at home, reading every day, and if you could please sign their diaries, and then spelling practice, just 10 minutes daily, 10 minutes times table practice, and then they've got the homework grids as well. And to try and aid you with that, we will send you a weekly email on a Friday. Okay, so homework. We've tried to find ideas to inspire the children to do the homework. So if you can sit with them and give them some time and they could maybe choose which task they like to do, then that would be really helpful. And the homework is designed to support what we do in school as well. Right, so we've got some apps as well. So I said about the spelling shed, we've also got the times table rock stars. So if you can encourage them to do that, and in the newsletter each week, there will be the top scorer from each class. So if you can encourage your child to join that competition, then that would be really good, and they can see the leaderboard. Okay, so we've said about spelling shed. PE kits, so Wednesdays and Thursdays for this term are your child's PE days, so thank you for sending them to school in their PE kits on those days. It just, for the COVID-19 reasons, it was just much easier, much safer, less risk of contamination between home and school if they just were wearing the same set of clothes. So thank you for your support in that. I will just say, going back to that, it is starting to turn the weather. So if you can make sure they've got some kind of jumper as well, and maybe some long jogging trousers if it is a PE day, then just to keep them nice and warm if they're in it all day. So we do have rewards. So we have our house points, and classes have their own individual awards. We've got drawers full of stickers, which even at upper Key Stage 2 children still like to receive. We have the worker of the week. We have our pens that children can earn when we're really happy with the handwriting, and Key Stage 1 have the golden bear. We also have our sanctions. So we have our sanction ladder, and the children know that if they choose not to follow our 3 golden rules, then they will have to start to move their way up this sanction ladder. And we will speak to you about it as well. If we have concerns about behaviour, if we think your child's getting distracted and we're worried about their learning or how they are with other children, then we will speak to you. Okay, and just you talk to us. So compliments and issues, if you're really happy about something, we'd love to hear about it. If you have an issue with something or a worry or just even a question, please do talk to us. So you will have our emails at the end of this presentation, and we would much rather speak to you directly about a problem and hopefully be able to sort it out quite quickly. So please do talk to us. Okay, so house points, so that is our main whole school reward system. So we've got our great artists there, so Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello and Raphael. So the children will be in one of those houses, and if they do something really good in their learning or in their behaviour or anything like that, then they can achieve a house point, and they get the grand total of all of the children in the school at the end of each week. And then there is a reward for the best team at the end of each term. So yeah, labelling, so things go missing, children leave things all over the place. We're quite fortunate in here in that our cloakroom is inside the classroom, so things like lunch boxes going missing, things like that, they don't really happen in year 5 because they're all in here, but it's really helpful if you can label things like that. And also the jumpers, please. Okay, so we have our new system. So our new system is called Arbor, and it's a really nice, easy way for us to communicate. And there is the function that we can email you, but there's also in-app messages if it's just something quick that we need to share with you. So we will communicate through Arbor, and then there's also the newsletters that come out every week, and you'll find those on our website as well, but they'll also be sent through Arbor. And that is how you would do all your payments and all your bookings as well. So things like parents' evening, things like that, you can book through Arbor. And if there's a trip or anything like that, you can also pay through there as well. Okay, so parents' evening, parents' consultations. So we did have very high hopes that we'd be able to do them in the hall, but based on this week, that's looking like that won't happen. So we will do them virtually. So we'll give you a meeting time and we'll chat to you like this so you can still see each other. And it's a bit more personal than a phone call, but the best that we can do in this situation. So it will be from 1 till 7. And if you go onto Arbor, you'll be able to book through them. Okay, so just going to skip forward a tiny bit. So I'll come back to that. So any questions, because this is such a big forum and people are quite reluctant to ask questions over this, what we've done here is shared our email addresses. So please do email us if you have any questions based on this. And I would like to thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. I'll just go back to them in case anyone just wanted to scribble any of that down. So all of our email addresses are at romeromac.com, and then it's just the teacher's first letter, then the dot, and then the surname. And then to finish off, we have just a short video to show. So I will share this video, and then I'll just come back at the end.
Hi and welcome to Cardinal Wiseman School. We've put together this short video just to give you an insight into what it will be like transitioning from year 6 into year 7 for this academic year. We've got some information that we'd like to share with you, but please do refer to our website because you'll find all of the information around transition there as well.
We're really sorry that you can't come onto site at the moment. We are hoping to get you on as soon as possible and speak to you and your families about coming and starting at Cardinal Wiseman next September. But for now, please enjoy what we've put together for you. And if you have any questions at all, please get in contact with us.
Our school, Cardinal Wiseman, has been on a very exciting journey over the last 3 years, and it's been one of rapid improvement. Our Ofsted report in 2018 recognised that the school had a sharply focused plan of high aspirations and improvement, and 3 years on we're already reaping the benefits of that. One of the key cornerstones of our success has been our 100% compliance, and that model is one of expectations, where we set the highest expectations for all of our pupils, and that's very simply because we put at the forefront of everything we do, the most important thing is being in the lesson and focusing on learning. And we want to ensure that all of our teaching and learning occurs in a quiet, calm, respectful environment.
At Cardinal Wiseman, everything that we do is underpinned by our compass for life. Our compass has 4 points on it: knowledge, ambition, resilience, and respect. We want you to be knowledgeable. We want to make sure that everything that you learn is as deep as possible, not just to pass examinations, but to make sure that you can engage with the world around you. We're fiercely ambitious for our students. We want you to go on to whatever destination it is that you choose, whether that's university, an apprenticeship, or straight into the world of work. We want you to be resilient. We know that the world is a difficult place and we won't get everything right first time. So no matter how many times it takes, we want you to come back and try again. We also want you to be respectful to your peers, to adults, because without that, it's difficult to make way into the outside world if you can't be respectful to one another around you. We're proud that in our last Section 48 inspection, we were rated as a good in all areas, and that's because of the depth of knowledge that our students have about the Catholic curriculum and the way in which they engage with everyone around them. So why do we want you to join Cardinal Wiseman in Year 7? Well, many of you will know each other from across the Romero schools from days that you've done in Year 2, Year 5, sports days, and camping over. Our teachers know you from all the work that you've done in primary school, and we plan meticulously to make sure that what you do isn't repeated later on. You're going to make lots of friends, you're going to continue your journey, and we're going to make sure that everything that you do at Cardinal Wiseman leads to success for you for the future.
As one of the largest secondary schools here in Coventry, we welcome pupils from all over the city, and we're an incredibly diverse community with over 40 languages spoken. We recognise that as we're a school within a big city, transport can sometimes be a challenge for some pupils to be able to access education. And it's for that reason that we have decided to invest in support for all of our pupils. So if you're a pupil that comes from one of our partner Catholic primary schools within the Romero Trust, and if you put Cardinal Wiseman as a first choice and you live more than 2 miles from the school, you will qualify for a free bus pass that will be funded by the school, because we don't want anything to come between you and the outstanding education that you will receive here at Cardinal Wiseman. We believe firmly at Cardinal Wiseman in educating the whole child, so we aspire to the highest ever academic standards for each and every individual that comes to our school. We aim to provide what we call a compass for life, to prepare our children to go out into the wider world with the skill set that will allow them to be successful, young, independent and happy adults. We work very closely with our feeder primary schools who work to develop a curriculum that will act as a seamless transition from year 6 into year 7. We're one of the largest secondary schools in Coventry, so our sixth form is just over 200 pupils, and it offers a wide variety of courses. We're proud to be able to have a large sports hall. We have our own 25-metre swimming pool, a fully functioning dance studio with a sprung floor, where we have our own dark room, as well as a state-of-the-art computer suite. We aim to give them experiences outside of the curriculum in confidence in speaking, confidence in working in the community, that are underpinned by our unique Catholic values of service, respect, wisdom, courage and faith.
We are such a special school because not only do we have amazing people like the teachers and the chaplaincy team and the leaders like our head teacher, Mr. Leverage, but we are also surrounded by our faith, and we are a community where, although people they have came from different nationalities, different races and different upbringings, we welcome everyone.
There's lots of different clubs, like you can do football, rugby, you can do lots of different school activities after school and in school.
We're a school that is deeply rooted in our core values, that allows parents to be able to send their children here with confidence, knowing that we will genuinely care for their widest education.
Okay, so thank you for taking the time to watch that. So we can now, I've stopped sharing, so we can just give you a little wave to say goodbye. So please come to us if you have any questions. On Friday, you'll receive an email from me through Arbor, and we can just tell you a little bit about what we've been doing this week. But lovely to chat to you this evening, and hopefully we will see you in person very soon. And thank you very much. Bye.